head and toe when it comes to track and field. We'll be back with the first event in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Johnny Bench. For 16 years with the Cincinnati Reds, I got my inside information in the clubhouse and around the batting cage. Now I get the most complete baseball news and information all in one source. I read Baseball Weekly from the editors of USA Today. In every issue, you'll find team-by-team reports, expanded box scores, complete evaluations of major, minor, and college league players, plus TV and radio schedules for every game. There's vital stats for fantasy leaguers, baseball collectibles, and my personal favorite, a nostalgia section. Now, for a limited time, you can call this number to get 1 full year of Baseball Weekly. That's 44 issues for just $35. You'll also receive a free copy of the Baseball Weekly 1992 Almanac, a $12.95 value. It's the all-in-one resource for baseball fans everywhere. So call this number now to start your 1-year subscription to Baseball Weekly for just $35 and get the 1992 Almanac free with your paid order.
Welcome back to Hayward Field. Todd McKim along with Alberto Salazar, the Washington State Cougars and the Oregon Ducks. Dual meet here at Hayward Field, and we've already had some events transpire. But before the meet, we thought we'd talk to the two coaches. And Alberto, obviously you're very close to Bill Dellinger, but you've, through the years, become very acquainted with John Chaplin. Interesting man.
Yes, well, John actually become good friends with him. I now work for Nike, and John's one of our coaches that we work with. And John's a great guy. He's different, but I get along with him well, and obviously with Bill Dellinger. Coach Chaplin, the University of Oregon, and the Washington State University track and field teams have for many years been probably 2 of the top 5 ranked collegiate dual meet teams in the nation. This year, Washington State University is favored by 20 points. What do you think about the meet?
Well, you and I have been to lots of these meets, and being favored in 20 points in Eugene means his meet's just about dead even. If you're not 20 points better, you're not going to win. It'll be a good meet. It always is a good meet. The crowd's enthusiastic, a little rowdy occasionally, but enthusiastic. And our kids like to come here. I enjoy it. Occasionally they question my ancestry, but beyond that, it's a nice afternoon, and we'll do well here.
Do you look at the dual meet season as being an important part of your season leading up to the Pac-10 and NC2A meets, or do you think that they're really 2 separate seasons?
No, I think it's part of it. Both Bill and myself are in smaller areas where our nearest competitors are 400, 500, 600 miles from us. So if we don't have a good dual meet to get the base, we're never going to get to the conference of the NCAA. So it's a very big deal to us. It's probably the only way we can survive given our population bases in Oregon and Washington.
Okay. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, Alberto.
John Chaplin, highly successful coach of the Washington State Cougars. And Alberto, of course, very familiar with Bill Dellinger as well. He's kind of the underdog today.
Yeah, he is. Washington State is favored, but once again, this meet is always so close that emotion can have a lot to do with making up 20 points.
341, number 3.
Bill, it's been 11 years since I competed for the U of O in track and field. One thing I can remember the most is our meets against WSU. The emotion that would rise, and we usually ran our best races of the year against WSU. Today, WSU seems to be favored by some 20 points over the Ducks. Do you think that the team's capable of rising to the occasion as they have in the past?
Well, Alberto, I certainly hope so, and I hope that in the last 11 years not too much has changed at all. It's still the great rival that it's always been, and John's brought a great team down here, and they will be favored for the meet, but I know that our guys are excited about competing. There's going to be some great individual competitions almost in every event. There's a few events where we simply can't compete against them, but I think for the most part, we're going to see a great track meet today, and hopefully John is right that competing in Oregon is worth 20 points for us. We might need them.
All right. Good luck, Bill. Thank you all.
Alrighty. Both the coaches, highly successful, highly competitive, and that's what we expect from this afternoon's meet. Let's take a look at some of the earlier highlights so far and some of the field events. First of all, in the long jump, Rodney Zidewick, an outstanding decathlete, in fact, second last year in the Pac-10 championships behind Pedro de Silva in the decathlon, the junior from Brisbane, Australia. Today in the long jump, kind of an up-for-grab event. Zyderwick and De Silva both have been over 24 feet fairly consistently throughout their careers. And Zyderwick with his best effort of the day right here. 24 feet, 4 inches. And that was good for second place and 3 points for Washington State. His main competitor, another decathlete, Pedro De Silva, a senior for Oregon from Brazil. His best effort, 24 feet, 5.5 inches. Good enough to win the long jump. Eric Trice of Oregon finished third, so the Ducks went 1-3 in the event. Well, you don't see this very often, an athlete actually competing. No, he's getting a little mental preparation. Art Skipper, earlier this year, had a collegiate best, 251 feet, 8 inches in the Pepsi meet. Today, this competition still going on. Skipper with the best throw so far, 245 feet, 9 inches. And he probably will win with that toss. We go to the shot put. Friday Inouye of Washington State has the best throw coming into this competition, and he has the best throw right now, 55 feet, 6 inches. So the Cougars look like they will win the shot put. Now, picking up action on the track, the Steeplechase, and we've got a doozy for you this afternoon. You are looking at Josephat Kapkori. Many consider him a great Kenyan runner against Rick Metzler and Ty Van Scoik. And it's Van Scoik right on his tail right now with 2 laps to go. You look at the field, Jason Humboldt, Nathan Davis, they are far back right now. Metzler, Kapkori, and Van Scoik. Those 3 looking for the win today. Those 3 will be in the Pac-10 championships, and there's a good chance all 3 of those will meet again in the NCAA championships in Austin, Texas.
Kapkori really did not run a real intelligent race here today. He went out very fast at the start, was out by himself battling the wind. The Oregon runners caught back up to him. He moved again. Now what's happened is that Ty Van Scoik has paced himself much smarter than Kapkori has. Kapkori is a great runner, though, so he's not going to let him pull away. But the 2 Oregon runners, Metzler and Van Scoik, have really run a very smart race. And right now, if Van Scoik can hold on and beat Kapkori, this could really be an upset and could really get Oregon going.
Van Scoik comes in with a PR of 8:40.14. He was 4th in the Pac-10 last year, or 4th in the Pac-10, and he also made it to the NCAAs where he scored. We're coming up to the bell lap. Van Scoik with about a 5-meter lead over Josephat Kapkori, with Metzler about 12 meters behind.
Van Scoik is a very tenacious runner. He doesn't have the kick that Kapkori has, but Kapkori, once again, has been going back and forth, so he could tie up possibly. Van Scoik ran his fastest 1,500 meter of the year last week, ran a 3:45, which is a 4:02 mile, so he might surprise him.
That 3:45 is the number 1 1,500 meters in the conference this year. Back and forth they go. Now it's Van Scoik going into a bit of a breeze with about 200 meters to go. That water jump could be very pivotal. Kapkori appears to be running with a little more ease, but he didn't have a good hurdle on the water pit, and Van Scoik now in an all-out sprint. Ty Van Scoik, the senior from Milwaukee, over the hurdle cleanly, and that was clearly the difference, the hurdles, those last 2.
And right here you can see the difference. When Oregon's at home, they don't let up.
Unofficially, 8:41, Kapkori slows down at the end. He will finish second, and Rick Metzler finishes third. Unofficially for Metzler, about 8:50. So that was a very good steeplechase and a big 1-3 finish for Oregon.
It's a real big event for Oregon, because Kapkori now, his only other event that he might possibly come back in would be the 5,000. He's not feeling good, obviously. He didn't run a great race. He's not going to be as aggressive in the 5,000.
So Ty Van Scoik with unofficially what would be the second fastest steeplechase this year. Only Mark Davis, that outstanding distance runner from Arizona, has a better mark. Van Scoik made his move with about 250 meters to go.
Ty was really smart. You know, he has run a good 1,500 meter this year, but he doesn't have blazing speed. So he made sure that those last 3 laps, when Kapkori would have rather have kind of jogged since the runners had caught back up to him, Ty kept it honest and kept the pace strong so that Kapkori wouldn't have that strong kick.
Well, we've had an explosive start here at Hayward Field. Washington State and Oregon coming up next, the 4x100 meter relay.
Whether you're out of work, worried about the future of your job, or simply ready to advance your career, it's not news that times are tough. I'm Harry Swilley for Career Builders Network. The key to getting the job you really want is to be better prepared than your competition. Join Career Builders and you will be. You'll receive how to write a job-winning resume, the Job Seekers Resource Report. You'll discover where to look for job openings most people never know about, plus information on how to make executive recruiters come to you. Members also have access to these low-cost services, resume writing and analysis, career counseling, legal assistance, plus information on hard-to-find short-term medical coverage. You'll also receive a free subscription to Career Builders and a free trial issue of the National Ad Search with over 2,000 nationwide job openings. It's your job. It's your future. So be prepared. Join Career Builders Network today.
Join Career Builders Network now and get a year's worth of member benefits for just $19.95, plus the free newsletter, plus the free national ad search. Call toll-free 1-800-253-1000. Call now.
You look at the score. After 3 events, Washington State having swept the hammer. The Ducks getting 1-3 in the steeple and 1-3 in the long jump. The Ducks also didn't fare real well in the shot put, where the Cougars are strong as well. You take a look at the 4x100 meter relay. Take a look at the lane assignments for Oregon: Skoglund, Harris, Gray, and O'Connor. And you see Washington State. You look at those times, but the teams on the track today aren't the same runners for both teams that have had their seasonal best. So some changes in the lineups due to injuries and so forth. A pivotal event here because, remember, the scoring is 5-0 in the relays.
The fact that there are different runners in these events could lead to possible baton problems here.
McDonald for the Cougars.
That's Mark McDonald for Washington State. Jesper Skoglund for Oregon. Ronnie Harris, the second leg, and he's a burner against Michael Jobert. Jobert, a 400-meter specialist. Harris also has run a 47 and change in the 400 this year. Bob Gray, Oregon's best turn man and the fastest man in the 200, has a bit of a lead, but Benari Burroughs is catching up, and the Cougars have an ace in a hole. Augusta Lalovia is their sprinter, and he's going to have to make some hay. This is Grady O'Connor, a 400 hurdle man. Can he hold off Lalovia? Here we come down the stretch. Oregon with the victory, defeating Washington State. A huge point swing there as the Ducks with the upset, unofficially 40.74, Washington State 40.78. Great second leg for Oregon's Harris, as he really made up the difference between the two teams on that first exchange. Take a look at the last 2 legs. This will be Ronnie Harris passing off to Bob Gray, 2 veterans, 2 seniors. Look at the Cougars. Way out in front. Jobert had to slow down as McDonald, and he did not have the timing, and that enabled Harris to really turn it on. And then we come down to the third leg. Bob Gray, you can see he's got a big lead, and he's a good turn runner. And we knew the Ducks had to have a huge lead going into the final leg, and they did.
On paper, Washington State definitely has a better team, but as always happens in the 4x100 meter, when you start changing runners there and putting in different runners, timing is the key, and those bad passes there for Washington State really killed them.
And Grady O'Connor holding on for the victory for the Ducks. A big win for Oregon as they try to get back in this thing. Down 9-0 because of a sweep in the hammer to start the meet. They're going to be climbing an uphill battle all day long. You look at Bob Gray. We will see him later in both the 110 hurdles and the 400 hurdles. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Cable TV shows aren't a dime a dozen. we have to pay a pretty penny for all the programming you enjoy. Yet you still get it all for less than $1 a day. Cable television, millions of dollars worth of TV, for a whole lot less.
When you want sports, turn to Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Get him in there. He's got to be earning his stuff anyway. Let's talk on the telephone lines.
Pretty nice. I learn a lot about sports listening to you guys.
Let's go talk to Rich Boy in a car phone. Rob, where have you been?
How are you, Cedric?
Live as we continue on Sports Radio 950 KJR. Dave Grosby with you. Remember,
When you want sports, turn to Sports Radio 950 KJR.
As advertised, we have a close meet through 5 events. Remember, 19 events in a dual meet track meet for men. Let's go to the high jump right now. Todd Dahlberg of Washington State with a PR of 6'11". Just moments ago, this was his first attempt at 7 foot 3/4 of an inch. He shakes it a little bit, but he is over, and he has the advantage. Todd Dahlberg with the advantage in the high jump. You're looking at Eric White of Oregon with a PR of 6'10 3/4. This will be his third and final attempt at 7 foot 3/4. And Alberto, on his first 2 attempts at this height, he was very close.
Yes, he just kicked it over with the bottom of his legs near his calves, so his body was basically over. He just had bad timing.
Now you're getting to the point where it's important in the meet. It's early in the meet, but you know the importance as far as Oregon is concerned. Yet he is jumping at a height that in a meet he's never successfully cleared. We'll come back and see how Eric White fared, but let's go now to the 1,500 meters. This is one of the marquee events this afternoon. Quality up and down the line, including the NCAA defending champion, Samuel Kibiri from Kenya. His PR is 3:38.38, set last summer. This year, 3:45.53. There's the field. Foster and Kibiri would probably be the 2 guys to watch.
Another big event for Oregon. Alan Foster, who came in as a freshman and ran a 3:42, which is the equivalent of a 3:59 mile, has now started to run well after a couple of disappointing years, so he could challenge Kibiri.
So you see a little strategy here by the Cougars. Kibiri is their best runner, but he's not going to force the pace and take the lead. He's going to sit back with Alan Foster.
Second Oregon runner here is Tracy Hollister. He's a freshman from Lake Ridge High School in Portland, and he's run this year already around 3:50, which is the equivalent of a 4:07 mile. So this is probably the biggest race he's been in his life.
Kevin Giberson with the lead for the Cougars, number 70. So with 3 laps to go, Giberson followed by Kibiri and Foster, and then Jamie Nordstrom of Washington State and Hollister of Oregon.
Watch for Foster to really key on Kibiri. His problem in the last 2 years has been letting runners get away from him.
We understand moments ago, Eric White missed on his final attempt at 7 foot 3/4 of an inch, and so he will finish second. Washington State will win the men's high jump. Winner this afternoon in that event will be Todd Dahlberg, clearing 7 foot 3/4 of an inch.
1500 meter runners came through the 459, so that's the 4-minute mile that they're running.
Giberson with the lead, but it's Kibiri and Foster, and you see, in fact, now the Cougars running 1, 2, 3.
Kibiri and Foster are content to let their teammate Giberson stay up there. They don't really care about him. They're just going to try and make sure that the Oregon runners don't pass them. Kibiri knows he may have to come back in the 5,000, so there's really no reason for him to go after his teammate up front.
800-meter time coming up.
Foster with a PR of 3:42.12, but as you mentioned, Alberto, that was set in his freshman season. This year, his best 3:47.9 to win the Pepsi Team Invitational that many of you saw right here on Prime Sports Northwest just a couple of weeks ago.
Allen did run a 3:44 1,500 meter, though, on relay leg at the 10 relays last week. Ran very well, beat his man. He was the lead-off leg, beat an Arkansas runner. So he is in good shape, close to his best ever, and I think mentally he really feels like he's starting to improve again.
He really suffered the last couple of years mentally because he came in with all the glitter and glamour of having done so well in high school and did so well that freshman year, and yet the second and third and fourth years were disappointing. Now, with a lap to go, it's Tracy Hollister into the lead, followed by Kabiri, Nordstrom, and Alan Foster. Foster moving back into third. Foster definitely keying off Kabiri. Now it's Hollister into a bit of a breeze down the backstretch. Kabiri makes the move.
Watch for Foster. Foster's got a really good kick. Kabiri may have forgotten about him after he passed Hollister. So maybe he'll catch him.
Kabiri now putting it into another gear. Kabiri last year in the NCAA Championships beat the '88 Olympic gold medalist Peter Rono to capture the 1,500 meters. And down the final 100 meters, it's Samuel Kabiri looking strong. Alan Foster about 10 meters behind, will not have enough as Kabiri extends his lead. And Samuel Kabiri wins the men's 1,500 meters. Foster is second. Hollister is third. As the Cougars win it, Ducks go 2-3.
Oregon picked up another point there. According to the form chart, they were only supposed to get second place. So Tracy Hollister ran well and picked up one more valuable point for the University of Oregon.
Hollister, just a youngster. He will be heard from in years to come. In fact, 2 weeks ago in the Pepsi, he ran his first 5,000 meters, and you might be able to relate to that. He ran about a 14:48 or something. He really struggled, but in the 1,500 meters today, it's Samuel Kabiri winning it unofficially, 3:44.88. Foster and Hollister second and third. Let's go back to the long jump, get the final results. The long jump over about 20 minutes ago. Oregon getting 1-3. Pedro da Silva, the victor, as he comes away with the win. 24 feet, 5 inches. Rodney Zuderwick, second. Eric Trice of Oregon is third. And in the shot put, the Cougars go 1-2 as expected. Friday Inouye, 56.9. Jason Baskett finishes second. And in the javelin, here are the results. Skipper, no surprise there, winning it. McKinney of Washington State, 2:14.5 to capture second. And Craig Reagan of Oregon, about 2 feet shy of his PR, grabs third. Take a look at the team score, up to date. The Cougars leading the Ducks 28-22 after 6 events. We got plenty to go as the Ducks and the Cougars go at it yet one more time here at Hayward Field. When we come back, we'll have more action between the Cougars and the Ducks, so stick with us. Wind may cut down on some of the times in the distance races, but it certainly could help wind-dated marks in some of the field events and also the sprints as well. And we're just about ready for one of the marquee events this afternoon, the 110 hurdles, featuring 2 of the better hurdlers in the country who will meet twice this afternoon. First of all, Bob Gray, the senior from David Douglas High School in Portland, with a PR of 13.79 set last year on this track in the finals of the NCAA Championships, in which he finished second. Last week he ran 13.99 at the Penn Relays. That's his best mark so far this season. And he'll be going up against Mark McDonald of Washington State. We saw him on the leadoff leg of the 4x100 relay. McDonald with a PR of 13.86 set this year at the Stanford Challenge back in March. He was second in the Pac-10 a year ago in the event. Take a look at the field for the event. Eric Holm of Oregon in lane number 2. Rodney Zuderwick will have a busy afternoon. He'll be in lane number 3. Bob Gray in lane number 4. Mark McDonald in lane number 5. And Muhammad Oliver in lane number 6. Oliver, by the way, was an 8th-round draft selection by the Denver Broncos in the NFL draft last week. And he's been on an airplane much of the last 3 days. He was back to the Broncos for a little bit of an introductory workout and flew in late last night to compete in the meet today. And he has struggled a little bit so far today, as you might expect after the airplane ride and so forth. Struggled a little bit in the long jump and the high jump, but the hurdles, a little different event, obviously. See the qualifying standards there, automatic and also Olympic trials.
Oregon is picked to get 1 and 3 here, so hopefully they'll pick up a second.
It's a good start. Quickly out of the block. It's Gray and McDonald along with Zudowicz. It's Gray with a lead. Gray extends his lead. McDonald now coming on strong as Bob Gray, McDonald, and Zudowicz. So Bob Gray gets first. The Cougars go 2-3. McDonald, who struggled over hurdles number 3 and 4 before turning it on down the stretch, but Bob Gray, very impressive, smooth race. Unofficially, 13:86, which would be his fastest time of the year as he comes on strong, prepping for the Pac-10 championships that will be held here at Hayward Field. You look at Mark McDonald right there, trying to fill the void left by Tony Lee, the Cougars' outstanding hurdler of a year ago. So Gray really took charge early, and even though Gray's hitting some hurdles, he looks much stronger. And Oliver, who had been off to a good start in lane number 6, faded down the stretch, and Gray just cruised there. See McDonald hitting hurdle number 3, hitting number 5, hitting number 6, and he just kind of banged him around a little bit. Not a smooth race for Mark McDonald. And Bob Gray, the senior, picking up where he left off a year ago, wins the high hurdles. Unofficial times, 13:86. And McDonald unable to crack that 14-second barrier. Look at the team scores now after 8 events. Whoa, tighter than fuzz on a tick's ear, Alberto, 35-33.
Well, that 20-point lead on the form chart seems to be evaporating here as we thought it would. Once again, this is such an emotional meet that I won't be surprised to see the Ducks make this a very hard battle.
All right, coming up next, we've still got some of the sprinters to come to work. The 400 meters to Hayward Field. We're just about ready for the start of the men's 400 meters, and you never know what's going to happen in the course of a dual meet. And over the past several years, look at the records that these two teams have had in dual meet competition. Washington State 54-5, and had it not been for Oregon, the Cougars would be undefeated the last 6 years in dual meets. Meanwhile, Oregon 36-4, and 2 out of 4 of those losses to Washington State. So if they don't beat each other, nobody else will.
These two teams, besides having great NCAA meet championship results, have had consistently even better dual meet teams. They've been in the top 3 in the country probably 90% of the time in the last 20 years.
And I think that's reflected in the fact that both of these coaches stressed the dual meet, not just having a couple of individual athletes like many of the programs now are going around the country to just see how well you can do at national level competition. Let's take a look at some of the other results from events earlier today. In the pole vault, Christos Palakas of Washington State, the favorite going in, wins it 16-5. Nate Hamilton of Oregon finishes second. Jim Lawrence of Washington State finishes third, based on the fact he had a few more misses than did Hamilton. And in the high jump, you saw Todd Dahlberg winning at the 7 foot, 3/4 of an inch. Eric White, 6'10" for the Ducks, and Jed Standard of Washington State got third at 6'8". So Washington State did very well in what we thought was a very pivotal and a swing type of event. So that certainly helped their chances to win the championship this afternoon. After 9 events, 41-36. So it's still up for grabs. And the 400 meters coming up next now could be really a big swing event, because we understand the favorite and the prohibitive favorite, Michael Jobert, is not entered. He has been scratched, a late scratch. So you've got Levon Pierce in lane 3. Jobert is now out. Moments ago, scratched. He ran the second leg of the 4x100 relay, but we don't have a reason why now he's totally disappeared. And now Saul Salas from Oregon and William Knight, who still has to be considered probably the favorite. Late entry for Washington State, taking the place of Jobert, is Rodney Zudowicz. So Zudowicz is having a plateful this afternoon.
Levon Pierce here, shown number 18, is only picked to get 3rd place. This year he's run 48.6, but his personal record is 47.5. So if he can run what he did last year, he has a very good chance at winning, and that could pick up some really needed extra points for Oregon.
Jobert's absence certainly throws this one open a little bit more. You're looking at William Knight, a junior from Lakes High School in Fort Lewis, Washington, a PR of 47.04, seasonal best of 47.6, which is the 10th best mark in the Pac-10. So he now wears the mantle of favorite in the 400 meters. Three-time 400-meter champion in the state of Washington while at Lakes High School.
Gentlemen, on your marks.
So it'll be Zudowick, Pierce, Knight, and Salos for Oregon. Look at the automatic marks and the Olympic trials and Pac-10 standards. It's a fair start.
Pierce, Knight,
Zudowick, Pierce, Knight,
that's William Knight
and
of Washington
Salos.
State.
Right now it appears to be Pierce and Knight. With Knight having, I should say, Pierce maybe a bit of a lead. He's got an advantage, Alberto, because he is on the inside lane.
Being in the inside lane, he can watch his competitor up in front of him and can really pace himself a lot better.
So as they come around the turn, 150 meters to go. Knight and Pierce, who appears to be tiring a bit. Knight with the lead, and both guys tiring a little bit, but Knight a little too strong. Pierce now has really tied up and will have to hold on just to get second. William Knight will win it. Pierce and Salos finished second and third. Zudowick was fourth. Unofficially, 47.94. So the Cougars hold form in that they win the event, although Oregon does pick up 4 points with a second and a third.
By getting that second and third for Oregon, they've picked up 3 more points than they were supposed to against the form charts. So Oregon is drawing closer and closer to Washington State University.
And Jobert, we don't know if he was injured or not, but he is a member of that 4x4 relay as well.
Last call, 100 meters, last call, 100
And you see Knight clearly stronger down the stretch, trying to hold his form a little bit better than you can see Pierce on the right, who is really struggling. And so Knight will win it. Cougars pick up 1 point in the event, but in the overall scheme of things, as you mentioned, Alberto, Oregon actually comes out a little bit better on the form chart. Let's go to the triple jump. Washington State and Oregon here, dual meet track in Eugene, Oregon, and the triple jump is another one of those events that could go anyway. You never know what's going to happen. It's such a technical event. You're looking at Charles Huff, number 74 of Washington State, PR of 50 feet 3 1/4. But his seasonal best, 47.11 3/4, way back in March. But he seems to do well against Oregon. In fact, his best jump ever, 50 feet 6 inches, came a couple of years ago against Oregon. So again, as you have with competitors up and down the line, when these two teams get together, they seem to bring out the best in each other. It's a legal jump. Let's take a look at the field in the triple jump. And we had a scratch. Oregon had hoped that Devon Hosey would be ready to go for this meet, but he is not. As a result, that certainly hinders their opportunity to do well in this event. You look at Charles Huff. Up next will be Eric Trice. Oregon, that'll be Chris Cook and Todd Bleakney. Bleakney now could become the man to watch, as he has the best jump of the Oregon jumpers in the field today. Eric Trice finished third in the long jump competition today. Jumped well in that long jump competition, finishing behind De Silva and Zudowick. And there will be a tailwind behind Trice. So one of the nice things about the renovation here at Hayward Field, Alberto, is because the wind can change from week to week. They've set up the field, particularly the field event, so that you can have the advantage of either going, you can have the wind at your back in virtually any event that you want, and that's nice to do. So here's Trice in the triple jump. And he's out around 49 feet. And so we'll keep close tabs on the triple jump. Chris Cook of Washington State up next. He's got a best of 49.5. That was at Cal earlier this year, 9th best mark in the Pac-10 so far this season. PR just under 50 feet. I mean, you can't get any closer and not be a 50-footer. 49.11 3/4. And the final jumper in this competition will be Todd Blakeney of Oregon. He has a best of 50 feet, 3 3/4. Alberto, you talked about momentum in a meet, and it appears that Oregon has built some momentum. No tremendous groundswell as of yet, but certainly they've made their inroads. Is that something that the competitors are aware of, even though they might be in an event and they don't have a lot of conversation with the other competitors?
No doubt about it. It really is a team sport, unlike what a lot of people think. And everyone knows what their teammates are supposed to be doing, what place they're supposed to be in, and when they do better than expected, everyone knows.
This is Chris Cook of Washington State. A legal jump. And it looked like a good jump as well. And we'll have those tabulations in a moment. We'll see how those three guys have done. And when we come back, we'll have the 100 meters. A big showdown here between Augustin Alobia and Ronnie Harris. Coming up next on Prime Sports Northwest.
May 4th at 10:30 Pacific.
Spring is here, and you know what that means.
Yep, a young man's fancy turns to love.
Yeah, I'd love a new Escort.
A new Escort?
Sure, a new Ford Escort.
Oh.
Right now, you can get 2.9% financing for 48 months.
2.9%?
But only through May 20th.
Well, it would be the perfect car for a honeymoon.
Honeymoon?
And with all the money we'll save, we can afford a nice, shiny diamond.
Diamond.
And a big wedding.
A wedding.
With lots of flowers.
Yeah.
And yes.
I'm very excited.
See the score after 11 events. That means there are 8 to go, one of which is the Discus. Again, this could be a pivotal event as Washington State is favored, but Heath Howington of Oregon trying to break through that form chart, and Howington just moments ago in the ring.
All right.
49.5. So Howington up over that 160 mark, 163.4 for Heath Howington, a sophomore from Roseburg High School, was the outstanding multi-talented athlete down at Roseburg, All-American as an offensive lineman in football, helped the Indians to a co-state championship a couple of years ago. Take a look at the lane assignments for the 100 meters. Benari Burrows of Washington State, Jesper Skoglund of Oregon, Augustin Alobia of Washington State, and Ronnie Harris of Oregon. Alobia and Harris both double as wide receivers for their respective football teams. Alobia, class of the field more than likely. Second last year in the Pac-10, and just last week won the 100 meters at the Drake Relays with a 10:34. Has a PR of 10:22, so he's the guy to beat. You might remember a couple of years ago, the 1991 NCAA indoor meet. He beat the Rocket Ishmael in the 55-meter dash to win the NCAA championship. And Ronnie Harris, wind-aided 10:38. Good start. Alobia with the lead. Alobia, Harris, Burrows. It's Alobia. Cruising at the end, and he almost lost it. Harris came on strong, and Alobia eased up with about 6 or 7 meters to go and almost blew it. And he can't believe what he did. Unofficially, they've got Harris with the win. Unbelievable. Ronnie Harris didn't give up, and Alobia did. Maybe he misjudged the finish line. I don't know, or maybe he just thought he was too far in front.
These are the sort of things that happen in this meet, Todd. It's just, once again, the emotion and the concentration are there, and Oregon isn't giving up, and Washington State has got to make sure that they don't continue these slips.
To us, it appeared that Alobia had won, but again, the scoreboard has a different opinion. You see him just kind of ease up here in the last 5 or 7 meters. Harris charging through. And this is one of those things as Alobia checks into the clerk's area there. Well, unofficially, and believe me, this is unofficial, Harris, Alobia, and Burroughs. But we'll come back a little later and get the official results, because this could be a pivotal swing in the meet. Let's take a look at this thing again. The white line is the finish line, and it appears, they got to get the bodies over there a little bit further, that Alobia was in front, but again, the angle on our camera is not directly on the finish line. So there is a bit of a distortion. We'll have to wait and see. Interesting turnabout here. Coming up next on the track will be the 800 meters, another pivotal event. So stick with us as we cover Pac-10 track and field action from Hayward Field.
Did you know you can see the finest in NASCAR stock car racing action right in your own backyard? Evergreen Speedway Monroe and South Sound Speedway south of Olympia offer racing every Saturday night, April through September, including the prestigious Winston Racing Series. Take the whole family and don't miss the exciting racing action every Saturday night. Evergreen Speedway at the Fairgrounds in Monroe. Gates open at 5, racing at 7. And South Sound Speedway south of Olympia off I-5 at exit 88. Gates open at 5:30, racing at 7:30. NASCAR racing at its best. Saturday nights, Evergreen Speedway and South Sound Speedway.
Now, kid, be cool. You just give this. You're a smart kid. You have a good day at school, Billy boy.
Well, now we have the official results in from the 100 meters. We said that we'd have to wait for these, and it's a good thing we did, because you can see Alobia just did hold on to beat Ronnie Harris 10:57 to 10:60. Bernardi Burroughs of Washington State was third. Let's update the team score for you. After 12 events, Washington State now extending its lead 58 to 46. So the Ducks had managed to close to within a couple of points about a third of the way through the meet, but now the Cougars flexing their muscles and have taken a 12-point lead. Let's go over to the triple jump. They have completed the preliminaries in the triple jump. After 3 jumps, you're looking at the leader right here on his 3rd attempt, Todd Bleakney of Oregon, who has a seasonal best of 53 3/4, just short of 50 feet, 49.9. He liked it, and he's into the lead. We have Chris Cook of Washington State currently 2nd. Charles Huff of Washington State is currently 3rd. So we'll keep our eyes and keep tabs on that triple jump as we get ready for the start of the 800 meters.
Scoreboard, there's your team score after 12 events. Washington State 58, Oregon 56.
So into the discus we go, and you look at Washington State's Alapido. Gabriel Alapido. This is the event that he is favored to win. And this throw is a legal throw. The leader so far, Keith Howington, 163.4. And you can see that one's going to be a little shy of that 160 mark. So it looks like Howington will maintain his advantage in the discus. We go back to the triple jump. Eric Price, 47 feet and 1/4 of an inch on his first jump. And this one appears to be an improvement. Eric Trice from LeGrand, a two-time state champion, one of only 3 Oregon high school triple jumpers to surpass that 50-foot mark. The Ducks, of course, had 2 great jumpers just a couple of years ago with Lattenberry and Spencer Williams. They were 2 of the best in the country on the same team at the same time, both of them native Oregonians, but the Ducks now trying to fill that void left by those 2 guys. We're ready for the 800 meters. And we had talked about Michael Jobert scratching from the 400. Well, he has reappeared in the 800, where he has the best time in the conference so far this season. Let's take a look at the field. Lane number 1, Randy Lamb. Lane number 2, Bildad Wahumbu. Shannon Amora, best Oregon hope in lane 3. Chris McBride, a good one from Washington State in lane 4. Coley Candell and Jobert. And this is a quality field. We figure that with Lamora, McBride, Candale, and Jobert, we will see a very good 800 meters. And Jobert quickly into the lead, not wasting any time. He's got a seasonal best of 46.82 in the 400, so he's got the best speed in the group.
One of the things that may work out against Jobert is that he's gone out very quickly. The fact that he does have so much speed for 400 meters may have led him to expend a little too much energy in the first 300 meters of this race. As you can see, the rest of the pack is coming up on him. They're catching up to him, and you're going to be able to use him as a windshield here on the home stretch.
Shannon Lamora of Oregon is in second place, a PR of 147.75. Bell Lap Lamora right on Jobert's heel.
Randy Lamb, Bildad Wahumbu.
It's Lamora and Jobert with Candell third, as Lamora and Jobert distance themselves a little bit from the rest of the field.
Coley Candell is still keeping contact there, and 800 meters is sort of race where someone can really tie up a lot, so Oregon could get some extra points here if Jobert hits the wall.
Jobert was the Australian junior champion in the 800 meters. As a freshman, he was 7th in the NCAA in the 400 meters. But down the stretch they come. It's Lamora and Jobert appears to be tiring. It's Lamora looking much the smoother runner, and he passes Jobert. Shannon Lamora coming to the wire. He will win the 800 meters. Jobert is second. Coley Candell is third. Unofficially, 1:48.33. Well, you said it, had it picked right on the money, Alberto. Jobert maybe went out a little bit hard. He did all the work as Lamora hung on that outside shoulder and passed him coming down the stretch. Let's take a look in the final 100 and I'm making almost 200 meters. Even now, it appears that Jobert is tightening up a little bit, just trying to muscle his way to the finish.
It's an advantage when you move up from a shorter distance and you go up, because it's going to feel slower to you. But one of the dangers is that it feels so slow that sometimes you still go out too fast for an 800 or for a 1500, whatever the event is you're moving up to, and you can pay the price for it, as Jobert did here in the last 100 meters.
And Lamora, in what could be the fastest outdoor time in the Pac-10 this year. Look at the faces, the straining of Jobert, and Lamora just appears to be a little more relaxed.
Yeah, very much more so. You can see his facial expressions and just his body movement as well. He's much more relaxed, so he's able to maintain his speed much better as a result.
Lamora has had a very good winter and spring of training. He is fit and ready to go and will be a factor when the Pac-10s come to Hayward Field in a couple of weeks. You look at the unofficial results. Lamora winning, Jobert second, Coley Candell is third. Let's head back over to the triple jump. Todd Bleakney led through the preliminaries with the best of 49.9 as he gets set for his first jump in the finals, the fourth attempt overall. You hear the rhythmic applause in the background of the fans at Hayward Field. And he pulled up. Foul for Bleakney in the triple jump. Back to the discus we go.
On the board,
Pete Howington trying to hold off
one by Augustin Olobian. Washington State
the Cougars in this event. This is his 5th attempt. He has a best so far of 163.4.
Washington State 1082. Southern Oregon 4th, 1096.
Howington, a former state champion, gets off a big, big mark. That may be a PR for Howington. That's about 170-plus feet for Keith Howington, the 300-pounder from Roseburg. Well, Heath isn't showing it, but the crowd knows it. They've seen how far it went, and they like it. We'll tell you how far it went and also have the 400 hurdles in a moment.
Racing fans know nothing can match the speed, power, and action of NASCAR. The best drivers in the world pushing 200 miles an hour in heart-stopping racing excitement. And nothing brings you closer to the action than the NASCAR video collection. Each one-hour cassette takes you behind the scenes with exclusive footage you won't see anywhere else. Get an insider's view of the developments in America's fastest-growing sport. You can start your NASCAR video collection at this special introductory price of only $9.95. Other cassettes will follow about every month for the regular price. There's no obligation. Cancel anytime. Join the NASCAR video team now. It's the inside track to America's ultimate motorsport, NASCAR.
To order your first 60-minute NASCAR video, call now, toll-free, 1-800-854-6100. Use your credit card, get the special introductory price of only $9.95. Call now, 1-800-854-6100. That's 1-800-854-6100.
Welcome back with only 6 events remaining. Washington State with a 9-point lead over Oregon. We are now ready for the 400 hurdles. And we'll get you caught up with competition in the triple jump. It has been outstanding. We have a scratch for Washington State, as expected. Bildad Wahumbo, who just ran in the 800 meters, wasn't going to come back in the 400 hurdles. That's a tough double, to say the least, with only a couple of minutes of rest. So it'll be Grady O'Connor of Oregon, Bob Gray, Mark McDonald, renew acquaintances. Gray winning in the high hurdles. So those are the 2 guys to watch, and this is an event where McDonald is the favorite. He's more experienced at this race. He's got a PR of 50.29. Set last week at the Penn Relays when he won that prestigious event. Bob Gray, only in his 2nd year in the 400 hurdles, but he has a PR of 50.92, so it's still close, and it could go either way.
Bob really isn't as experienced in the hurdles and doesn't work on it as hard as he does at the 110 high. So you could see him to possibly make a lot more improvement than you will see McDonald.
Gray, of course, would like to get that automatic qualifying mark of 50.70, already obtained by McDonald, who was a semifinalist last year in the NCAAs. So it is O'Connor, Gray, and McDonald. And Yatella for Oregon. Gray out quickly.
Gray in lane 4. McDonald in 5.
Right now, Bob Gray has made up the turn. You see McDonald with the longer stride, but Gray in good position with 200 meters to go.
Gray's going to have to hold on here. He will run a shorter line to the finish than Will McDonald.
So here they come down the last 100 meters. McDonald the first over the barrier. He looks strong. He's a bigger runner. Good solid form, and he looks strong as he comes to the wire. And Mark McDonald will win the 400 hurdles. Gray 2nd. O'Connor finishes 3rd. McDonald unofficially with a time of 50.39. Not quite the PR, but certainly a very good time for Mark McDonald. And Bob Gray, a little disappointed, unable to get that double this afternoon in the 2 hurdle events. Come down to the last 100 meters. And you can see McDonald just, because he's got that size, a little more strength, and the experience. Maybe did a nice job of pacing himself.
These 2 hurdles could be possibly the top 2 high hurdlers and intermediate hurdlers in the country, running here against each other twice today.
There you see it. That's a big win for Washington State. Oregon thought they needed a breakthrough there to have a chance to win this meet. There's still plenty of events to go, but slowly and surely the Cougars approach that magic number of clinching victory here this afternoon. Take a look at the triple jump once again. And as we told you, outstanding competition here in the triple jump. This is Eric Price. He's out near that 50-foot mark. That was a legal jump. That was his final jump as well. Take a look at Eric Cook just moments ago. He really busted this one. And he just jumped right out of the pit. And he and his teammates exploded in the East Grandstand because that one put him into the lead. 49-10. He just does pass Oregon's Todd Bleakney, who had a 49.9 1/4. Let's take a look at the discus results. The final results in the discus, completed just moments ago. The winner, Heath Howington, with a PR of 171.7. Jason Baskett of Washington State finishes second, 171.4. Howington coming back after a disappointing performance in the shot to win the discus with a PR. We go back to the triple jump. This is Charles Huff. Cougars trying to go 1-2 in this event and put the meet, for all intents and purposes, away. That'll be a little bit short of his best so far this afternoon.
No, I said
so as of right now, it's Chris Cook with the lead, 49-10.
14-42.
Chris Cook will be the next jumper from Washington State.
Down to the final 2 jumps now in the triple jump.
Washington State is in the driver's seat here. Unless Bleakney can come back and regain that lead, Oregon will find it really hard to catch up at the end.
Up next will be the current leader at 49-10.
This is Chris Cook, currently leading his final jump. If he finishes first, it will probably put the Cougars over the top with regard to the team race today. Remember, coming up, we still have the 5,000 meters. And we also have the 4x4 relay. And what happens here in the triple jump, I think, will definitely have an effect on who will compete in the 5,000 meters. Because if the Cougars clinch the meet here, John Chaplin probably would not double back some of his premier runners, Kabiri and Kapori and so forth. That looks like an improvement. But a foul. But a foul on the board. He's still the leader. So he finishes at 49-10. Todd Bleakney, 49.9 1/4. He needs to improve by 1 inch to keep the Ducks in the meet. So Cook, very good job this afternoon as he was right near his PR and certainly did a nice job today. He's been very consistent most of the day, and now the pressure swings back to Todd Bleakney. Well, we'll come back in just a moment and see what Todd Bleakney can do in the triple jump. So stick with us.
Did you know you can see the finest in NASCAR stock car racing action right in your own backyard? Evergreen Speedway Monroe and South Sound Speedway south of Olympia offer racing every Saturday night, April through September, including the prestigious Winston Racing Series. Take the whole family and don't miss the exciting racing action every Saturday night. Evergreen Speedway at the Fairgrounds in Monroe. Gates open at 5, racing at 7. And South Sound Speedway south of Olympia off I-5 at exit 88. Gates open at 5:30, racing at 7:30. NASCAR racing at its best. Saturday nights, Evergreen Speedway and South Sound Speedway.
Great cable TV shows aren't a dime a dozen. We have to pay a pretty penny for all the programming you enjoy. Yet you still get it all for less than $1 a day. Cable television, millions of dollars worth of TV for a whole lot less.
Welcome to the Fleer NBA Championship game. Here's the tip-off. Mutombo controls to Bogues. Bounce pass to Mitchell. He spins behind the back to Charles Smith. He's airborne and jams it from three-point land. The bench goes wild. 6 seconds left. Worthy inbounds to Porter at midcourt. The alley-oop to Bowie. Great pass to Ellison. A monster dunk. That's the game. Here's the wrap-up. Fleer, a game in every pack.
Capture all the excitement of NBA basketball cards with a new Fleer starter set. This set includes a one-of-a-kind Fleer Collector's Tin, plus 15 packs of Fleer cards for the 1991-92 season. To order, call 1-800-848-1700. The tin holds up to 450 cards and will keep them in mint condition. Offer only $10.99, plus $3 shipping and handling. That's 1-800-848-1700. Offer good until August 31st, 1992, or while supplies last. Call now.
Welcome back to Hayward Field. We have high drama in the triple jump. As leading, going into the final jump of the competition, Washington State's Chris Cook. Final attempt for Todd Bleakney to keep Oregon in the meet. And did he hit that one? A PR, and he knows it. 51 feet 6 inches to win the event on his final attempt. Todd Bleakney from Bainbridge Island, Washington. And is this ironic, Alberto? Here is an Oregon Duck coached in high school by a former Cougar, Joseph Taiwo, at Mercer Island High School. And he comes back under pressure with his best jump ever. A PR and the third best outdoor jump in the conference this season. Look at it again. Really extended out, and he knew as soon as he hit the sand that he was the winner. Wow. And that's what this kind of competition can do. It brings out the very, very best in all the competitors.
With only 3 events to go here in the meet, it's very close, and Oregon definitely has a chance. And that last event not only keeps us in there, but it also is going to inspire our runners in the last 3 events.
Well, we have the 200 meters, followed by the 5,000 and the 4x400. Let's take a look at the score with, as you see, 4 events to go. We still don't have the official results of the triple jump, I believe. You see the Ducks trailing Washington State 73-67. So we're ready for the 200 meters, an event that the Cougars are very, very heavily favored to win. Now, we had an interesting scenario in the 100 meters as you look at the Burroughs, Harris, Olobia, and Skoglund. In the 100 meters, Olobia eased off in the final 10 meters, and Harris almost caught him at the wire. Now, Olobia, knowing that Harris is not going to give in, will have to extend himself throughout the entire 200 meters. Olobia, a transfer from Texas Southern, has a wind-aided 20.79 to his credit so far this year. That's second best mark overall in the Pac-10. And his PR is 20.76. Harris, on the other hand, PR of 21.39 at Washington about a month ago. Fair start. Olobia and Harris out quickly. It's Burroughs, Harris, Olobia, Skoglund. Olobia wasting no time taking the lead. Harris to his inside, and Burroughs, don't forget about him in lane number 2. Down the stretch they come. Olobia with that strength and size, powering his way to the finish line. Harris holding on for second and almost a symmetrical 1-2-3 finish. Olobia, Harris, and Burroughs as the Cougars pick up 6 points. The Ducks 3. But this meet is still too close as we'll have a couple of running events left. And neither team wants to take anything for granted. Olobia with the winner, a double winner this afternoon in the 100 and 200 meters.
Fair start, Olobia and Harris out quickly.
You can see Olobia just real strong with Harris on his inside. And at this point, Harris was in good position. But here's where that strength factor takes over. Harris ran a 47.09 earlier this year in the 400, but he just doesn't have the strength and the size of Olobia. And Olobia This time, no easing at the finish line. And he wins it. So big points for the Cougars. They go 1-3 in the 200 meters. They've been very strong in the sprint events so far this afternoon. When we come back, we'll have the men's 5,000, as this one is still up for grabs.
And so,
Now that you've seen the movie, here's your chance to join the club. The official Terminator 2 fan club. Dial this toll-free number and join now for only $9.95. Your membership includes The Making of Terminator 2, a special collector's video cassette featuring a behind-the-scenes look at the making of this extraordinary movie. You'll also get the premiere issue of the T2 newsletter, the membership card, and special discounts on exclusive T2 merchandise, all for only $9.95. Plus, call this toll-free hotline right now to order these official high-quality Terminator 2 collector's items. The sweatshirt for only $24.95, the t-shirt for $14.95, and the embroidered cap for $9.95. Add $4.50 to all orders for shipping and handling. The cap, t-shirt, sweatshirt, and fan club. Order each separately or get all four, but order right now.
Now there's a magazine that's as serious about golf as you are.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, Golf Illustrated. It's Golf Illustrated, America's oldest golf magazine, designed for the serious golfer, with tips from the greatest players and teachers in the game. In clubhouses across America, amateurs and pros alike enjoy Golf Illustrated's stunning photography, engaging features, and tournament news. New clubs? Sure are. Read what Golf Illustrated says about them. Golf Illustrated's thorough reviews offer sound advice on equipment and your game. Since 1914, for travel, fitness, and equipment tips, golfers have turned to Golf Illustrated.
You know, Golf Illustrated has brought the best of golf to its readers for a long, long time. Isn't it time you subscribe? Give them a call now.
Get 10 great issues of Golf Illustrated for only $14.95. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Welcome back to Hayward Field. I'd like to remind you to catch the action of college baseball this Monday as the Central Washington Wildcats go to bat against the Washington Huskies. Monday night at 10:30, only on Prime Sports Northwest. And Thursday night, the Portland Pilots take on the Oregon State Beavers in college baseball action. That's this Thursday night at 10:30, only on Prime Sports Northwest. Well, with 2 events to go, you can see the beautiful scenery at Hayward Field. The Cougars with an advantage. John Chaplin has, through the years, brought in foreign athletes to compete, and some of the best in the world have attended Washington State. You see kind of the breakdown of by country, the Washington State roster, with USA having 19, Nigeria, Kenya, Australia, and so forth on down the line. Let's take a look at the team score with 2 events to go. Washington State 79, Oregon 70. And with a 5-3-1 scoring process, you can understand that right now, as we are in the midst of the 5,000 meters, if Washington State gets a second in the 5,000, they will win the meet. Let's take a look at the rundown of the competitors in the 5,000 meters. John Dimoff of Oregon, E.J. Guo of Washington State, Pat Haller and Tim Julian of Oregon, Samuel Kabiri and Josephat Kapkori now doubling back for Washington State. Kabiri in the 1,500 meters earlier, Kapkori second place in the steeplechase. Well, Alberto, you've been keeping tabs on this race. What's happened so far?
Well, they're on pace to run about 14 minutes or 5,000. In the first mile, John Dimoff from the University of Oregon led in order to give Pat Haller a break from the wind. Bill Dellinger knew that Pat's only chance to win the race would be if somebody was out there to break the wind for him for at least the first mile. And so John did a good job of that. He led through 4 laps at about a 66 pace. Since then, the pace has slowed considerably. And now Pat Haller's had to do most of the work. They've slowed down to about a 70-second pace for the last 4 or 5 laps. And the 3 Cougars are just hanging there. They don't want to run any faster than they have to. They've probably won the meet at this point. You know, all they needed was a second, and right now, unless all 3 of these runners were to fall down, and the University of Oregon finished first and second, and then win the relay, the 4x400, that would be Oregon's only chance. So now it's just turned into a tactical race, and I think that Pat knows he's not going to pull away from him here. He still knows, though, that he can't outkick them. So he's going to have to make a decisive move, and I would look to see it with about 3 laps to go. He's going to have to start a long, hard drive to the finish line.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say with the speed of all 3 of those Cougar runners that Pat would have to do something early, try to get rid of 1 or 2 of them, to say the least. I mean, you're talking about Cap Corey, who's run an 8:53 steeplechase. You're looking at Kabiri, who's run a 3:38 1,500 meters. And for those track fans that have watched E.J. Guo over the last couple of years, he's made it a habit of just sitting on those Oregon runners, Brad Hudson, Peter Fonseca, and so forth, and then over the final 300 or 200 meters, just using that great speed of his to win the race. So Haller has got his work cut out, to say the least. Alberto, you were in situations like this early in your career in the late 70s when you were here at the U of O, when you were matched up against some of those great Washington State runners. What did that do early in your career as a freshman or a sophomore to go against that world-class competition?
It was definitely the best thing that could have happened to me. It was tough the first 2 years to get beaten pretty handedly after being successful in high school and not losing too much, but I knew that the competition would make me better in the long run. And by the time I was a junior and senior year, I was pretty much holding my own against them and running faster. I knew they were older runners, so that I would improve probably more than they would over my last few years. And sure enough, that happened, and I really believe that in the long run it was very beneficial for me to run against those runners.
Well, you're looking at Pat Haller, currently running at shoulder to shoulder in a battle for the lead here in the 5,000 meters as 11:29 through 3 miles unofficially.
They're probably going to run somewhere around 14:05 to 14:10 after they start to kick. They're actually only on pace for 14:15, but they will pick it up considerably over the last 2 laps here. Unless Pat is really hurting right now, he's got to make a move. He's only got 2 laps to go, and there is no way he can go with these guys on the last lap. He's got to stretch it out. He's got to make a move and work hard now so that they can't pick it up that much on the last lap.
About 2 laps to go, and now they begin to separate just a little bit. Kabiri and Haller, followed by Guo and Cap Corey. Already this season, Haller has run a 14:03.62. That's the 4th best mark in the Pac-10, and it is an NCAA provisional time. None of these guys will get the automatic time here today. And now they're stretching out a little bit. Haller and Kabiri.
I'm really surprised that they dropped Guo and Cap Corey this easily. Cap Corey, of course, had already run the steeplechase, so you can see that he's tired. Guo has run very well this year, so it's surprising to see him fall back. But this should be a good, tough race here because we've got Kabiri running here against Haller, and Kabiri, as you know, just ran very well earlier in the 1,500 meters, but how much that's taken out of him, we'll find out in the next lap.
He looked like he had a little more in the reserve tank, but he was pushed a bit by Alan Foster in that 1,500 meters. It was not a cakewalk. So here we go. We come to the bell lap. Kabiri and Haller. Kabiri. Excuse me, that's Kabiri and Haller. And for the first time today, Kabiri really has opened up a little bit of a lead, but for Haller it's not all that bad because he's able to draft a little bit. But Kabiri keeps looking over his shoulder, I think, just to see how fast he needs to run. That's Cap Corey, excuse me, not Kabiri. That's Cap Corey. And now he really turns it on. Cap Corey had an amazing double earlier this year at Mount Sac. He ran a 10,000 in an NCAA automatic time of 28:22.4. The next day, he traveled to Cal and ran an 8:53 steeplechase. And boy, does he got some speed to burn, as he will win the 5,000 by about 15 meters. Josephat Cap Corey. Pat Haller gets second. It'll be Kabiri and Guo finishing 3rd and 4th, but with the victory by Cap Corey in the 5,000 meters, Washington State has clinched the victory. Earlier this week, John Chaplin said that his guys would sweep Pat Haller in the 5,000. That did not happen, but the Cougars nevertheless get the victory and win the meet, with Cap Corey capping things off in the 5,000 meters. We'll be back with today's final event, the 4x400 relay, and update the scoring in just a moment.
Very comfortable because it's built to the highest standards of energy efficiency. From the insulation to the windows, the appliances to the lighting, it's designed to use electricity most wisely. So it saves you money, and it saves energy. In fact, all the Super Good Sense homes throughout the Northwest save enough energy each year to power a small city. Super Good Sense. Insist on it.
Last winter, $6,000 was donated to the Athletic Scholarship Fund of Washington State University by Prime Sports Northwest and Cablevision of Pullman, Moscow. The funds were raised through a Cable Connect campaign in Pullman and will go toward scholarships for Washington State athletes attending Washington State University. You too can help Washington State's student athletes. For more information, call the Cougar Club at 509-335-0220. Call now and support WSU Athletics.
You see the team score, final event of today's meet, the 4x400 meter relay. Take a look at the lane assignments and the competitors. Gun is off. 4x4 to be William Knight for Washington State leading off. He will hand to Mark McDonald, then Chris McBride and Michael Jobert. For Oregon, Grady O'Connor, Bob Gray, Levon Pierce, and Ronnie Harris. Grady O'Connor, who finished third in the 400 hurdles, out quickly, but now is caught by William Knight.
Go, Grady! Go, Grady! Go, Grady!
Earlier this year, the Cougars ran 3:10.97. The Ducks' best this year, 3:12.41. Washington State has already clinched the meet, and now we've just to determine who wins this race and what is the final score. So, for the third time today, Mark McDonald and Bob Gray get matched up against each other. You don't see that very often from hurdlers.
They're 1-1 against each other, so this leg will decide who leaves on top. Prior to the meet, Bill Dellinger had said that Bob Gray wouldn't run the relay, the 4x400, if the meet had already been decided. Since he is running it, I think that it must be that Bob Gray wanted to run it. He probably wants it for conditioning, just to help him get through those heats that he'll have to run in the Pac-10 and the NC2A.
And he's a competitor, too. The Ducks, even though they will not win the meet, would like to leave with a sweep in the relays. Remember, they won the 4x100 relay earlier today. Well, McDonald and Gray, and we're going to call it a standoff. They went 1-1-1. McDonald handing off to Chris McBride, and Bob Gray handing the baton off to Levon Pierce.
The meet may be over, but the Ducks aren't giving up yet. They want to leave the meet here today with their heads held high, as the Cougars, of course, will. And looks like a great 4x400 going on here.
Final legs will be Jobert and Harris, the two best 400-meter men on the respective squads. Jobert's got a better PR. Harris, kind of a novice to the 400 that, as we mentioned, ran a 47.09 in the first meet of the season, the Oregon Preview. Each one of these legs has been competitive. Pierce, who finished second in the 400 meters. And he will give Ronnie Harris the slimmest of leads going into the final lap. 400 meters to go. Harris out quickly. Jobert not far behind, and he catches up in a hurry.
Remember, Jobert tied up at the end of that 800-meter race, and he would be smarter to not go out too fast.
Oh, and a little bit of taunting as he waves the baton to the Cougars standing on the east grandstands.
Harris has got to hold him off around the turn here, make him run wide. He wasn't able to do it.
Now Harris will have to come to the outside. Harris has got a longer stride, and now they dig down deep inside. Who's got the most left at the end? It's Harris and Jobert. They touch elbows and shoulders. Jobert is tightening up. Harris will pull Oregon to victory despite the taunting leg of Michael Jobert. Oh, my goodness.
Jobert made a big mistake again after tightening up in the 800. His legs have got to be tired. He should have gone out more conservatively, but he went and just dug his grave even deeper by going out that fast in that 400.
We might have a foul on Jobert on the far turn. That might have all been for naught, as we had a red flag go up at the far turn around the 200-meter mark. And Jobert not running an intelligent race. And let's take a look at it here. Did he cut in too quick? Harris, boy, bumped up against the rail right there. You see it. Jobert cut in too quickly. Take a look at it from another angle. I guess this is what this meet is all about, Alberto. Even when the meet's decided in the final event, we got a little bit of controversy.
Washington State could have just run a little more conservatively, but I think they wanted to rub a little salt into the wounds here and show Oregon up in that last event, and it cost them.
Look with John Chaplin. He is all over Jobert. He did not like the way the young man from Australia ran that last 300 meters. Well, hopefully we'll hear from John Chaplin. Well, I guess it's a fitting way to end the meet between the Ducks and the Cougars. Yeah, now John unhappy with our photographer Scott Winder. He wants him to stay away. Controversy, competition, and excitement. The Cougars and the Ducks in track and field. That's what it's all about. We'll be back to wrap things up in a moment.
Gary Weiss, Walker Chevrolet. You know, we've been in business since 1933. And there's a reason why. Cars cost